Here's how I made $38.48 day trading the S&P 500 today. So this was a break-even trade, so that's why I only made $38 today. But here's my trade recap for that. So I had a bullish bias coming into the day because, where are we at? Here we go. And let's go drop down the 4-hour on ES as well. Because we had this 4-hour imbalance that was made on Friday that I was expecting us to hold and respect today, which we have been so far. So that was my bias. I was thinking bullish. My target was previous day highs, which were right here. Let me put that in. Previous day high. I'm not going to put it in on NASDAQ because I took the trade on ES, but same story for NASDAQ. My target was previous day highs for both. So if we scale in to the 15-minute time frame, where was market open? Market opened right here. Right? Yeah. All right. So this is where market opened. We were inside. We swept on the 15-minute. We swept sell side liquidity right there and followed that with a 15-minute change in the state to the upside. I was originally looking to try and find a long somewhere in here inside this 15-minute order block, but there was just no real great executions in here because I'll show you. We drop down on the 1 minute. For a good chunk of the morning, we were in some heavy accumulation here. So I didn't really find a quality entry until later in the morning session where, let me scale back out to the 15-minute. We created this 15-minute fair value gap right here. Let me put it in maybe yellow. We created this 15-minute fair value gap right there. And I was expecting us to hold that. We created it on NASDAQ as well. 15-minute, right, it was this one, right? Yeah, right here. In my bias, we had taken out a few draws on liquidity already here. But my bias was up to previous day highs, like I said earlier. So I was willing to take a later entry here to go long. So yeah, this 15-minute bullish for value gap. And once we came down, retraced inside it here, I scaled into the 1 minute time frame on both NASDAQ and ES because I was willing to take this trade on either. And then where was it? It was right here. And then we put in this internal 1 minute low right here that we manipulated on ES at 1142. But that same low was right here on NASDAQ. So we put in a bullish SMT here. Bullish SMT. And that was swept. Bullish SMT right here. Giving me more conviction in a bullish bias here. No. SMT. All right. And then once we swept internal sell side liquidity, I just needed a change in the state to the upside. And I was favoring ES a little more here just because I liked that we actually took out the low on ES, but technically I could have taken the trade on NASDAQ as well. Both kind of did the same thing in the end, so it doesn't really matter. So change in the state would have been right here. Change in state. Right there. So we confirmed it on this candle right here on ES and at 1144 on NASDAQ. So the confirmation came first on NASDAQ, but like I said, I was favoring ES just a little more. I just kind of liked the way price was moving a little better here. So I took the trade on ES. We confirmed the change in the state at 1147, and that's where I put my entry. As you can see here, that's my execution. I went long right here at 77.75. That was my entry. I put my stop down just below this low, and my main take profit was a real large. I had my take profit way at previous day high, because that's what the higher time frame was saying we should be targeting. But along with that is, if we scale it to the 1 hour, we had an internal buy side liquidity level right here, where once we swept that, I was going to move my stop to break even, which after entry, this was my trade. After entry, we got really choppy price action. Chop, 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 all the way until about 12:30. Just after, we got that strong push up to the 1 hour internal sell side liquidity level. So at this point, at 12:44 p.m., I moved my stop to very small profit, pretty much break even. And right after, we pushed right back down and hit my break even stop at 1 p.m. exactly. So that was why I entered this trade. Overall, a solid trade. A little later in the day than I like to be trading, but the setup was a decent setup. So I'm fine with this trade. I made $38.48 on the break-even trade, so is what it is. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, not a bad trade. Solid setup, just later in the day, a little later than I like to be trading, but still within my trading window, along with all my rules. So I'm fine with this trade. Solid trade overall. That was it. If you gained value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe, as I'll be posting future trading and life content to help you guys out with your trading journey as well.